communism always goes the same way. You get promised the world, a utopia, free everything, everybody living in harmony in paradise, and in a few months you have no electricity and you're eating the dogs and cats. That's if you're lucky, ladies and gentlemen. Things are getting bad. In communist Cuba, Cuban Sea Island drained as state electric company fights to provide even an hour of power a day. No electricity, no gas, no sleep. Cubans on edge. What a paradise. Wow. Cuba, just a total hellscape. Virtually zero electricity for the entire island. The streets are dark, regime in panic, power plants are dead. But you could also write that story about New York City. New York City just flipped the switch and voted for a communist who demanded that everybody turn off their air conditioning units. That's how it always starts. And now there are nearly 14,000 customers without power across New York. The number of power outages grow exponentially every single day. Look at this. New York City isn't even experiencing that much heat. It's 71 today. But they are incompetent and cannot keep the power on. The moment that you elect a communist, things just go spiritually bad for you. Reducing voltages in the area of Southwest Queens, the power is disrupted. Find your nearest cooling center. If you're on life-sustaining equipment that needs power, limit use of appliances. Look at this. I'm telling you, it's a spiritual battle. They want misery for you, and they want our way of life destroyed. They want us to be totally and completely dependent on that. Didn't you just get a flashback of COVID there? Right? Life-sustaining equipment. So the people that are on ventilators, people that need electricity to stay alive, too bad. You voted for communism. And this is now what you get. Heat wave. Power problems force Con Edison to temporarily shut down 10,000 Queens customers. Nearly 400,000 others have voltage reduced. Epic NYC heat wave is taking a toll on the power grid. Con Edison has temporarily shut off the power to 10,000 Southwest Queens customers due to heat-related equipment problems and heavy electrical demands. Wow. Is this the warmth of collectivism that we've...
Individualism with the warmth of collectivism. Frigidity of rugged individualism with the warmth of collectivism.
This is the warmth that this is what you were promised. You were promised no power under this communist, and he has delivered. Got an update on our building's power problems. Con Ed said there's nothing that they can do. Nothing's broken. They literally don't have enough power to give to us. So NYC has run out of electricity. I like to think of myself as a build more guy, but we can't build more if the power company is saying it literally can't supply the power. And no, the mayor has nothing to do with the private electricity provider managing a swath of the metro area. If anything, I blame Governor Andrew Cuomo for shutting down a major power plant without making arrangements to replace it. Well, okay, so you're just blaming another blue state, left-wing, socialist governor. It's all the same ideology. Do you think that Zoran Mamdani wouldn't shut down all the power plants if he got a chance? Zoran Mamdani just closed the prison. He just closed Rikers Island. What do you think is going to happen next? Of course they'll shut down the power plants. Of course they'll close all the prisons. And of course they'll defund the police. This is the future that awaits you in New York. New York has power prices climbed over $1,100 per megawatt hour. Expected to climb even further. Unsustainable. NYC, turn off all non-essential electrical equipments. NYC's electrical grid is under serious strain. And they're warning that it could get even worse. The man responsible for blacking out and costing millions to home and business owners keeps his office at a brisk 69 degrees. The man who asked you to shut off all your electricity and batteries, NYC has no food, no clean water, no power during the heat wave. But he had enough time to film this. Zoran Mamdani had enough electricity to film himself at George Washington's desk, sitting backwards with a bunch of brand new paperwork Americans. They're glaring at you, seething in their hijabs. Okay. Zoran Mamdani.
Alleviate the stress on our power. And to every business owner, please set your thermostats to 78 degrees to alleviate the stress on our power grid.
Price controls. air conditioning controls. Everybody in New York is panicking, but don't worry. They had enough power to light the Empire State Building up in blue in honor of Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce's wedding. They got priorities. Ironic, isn't it? Thousands without power or air conditioning throughout the NYC because of the heat wave. But no, let's waste power on Taylor Swift. Communists don't ever waste power. They take it all for themselves. Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce got married. What was the temperature set at in Madison Square Garden? What do you think the temperature was there? A marriage for the ages, they said. New York City needs you to reduce power so hundreds of electric billboards can stay brightly lit for tourists in Times Square. Now, who's exactly sacrificing here? Look at this. Set your AC to 78 degrees. Turn off all lights and electronics you're not using. You know, what's amazing about a tweet like this is that it really does show they begin by asking. What happens next is he'll have the Gestapo come into your apartment to check your thermostat. And then what happens next? You get put in a camp for using too much electricity, Conrad. That's just the way these things go. This is the history of communism throughout the world. This is why communism has left 100 million people dead in this past century. Mamdani roasted for telling New Yorkers to set AC to 78 degrees during a blistering heat wave. Show us your thermostat, commie, says Spencer Pratt. I've texted all my coworkers who voted for Zoran to send me a photo of their air conditioning. That's right. Welcome to communism, people. Hope you enjoy. Communism always goes the same way. They smile and promise you the world, free this, abundance for all. How? Don't ask. And then when they get power, the rationing begins. First they ask, then they demand, then the bullet. Welcome to socialism, where the government demands you turn off your household into a sauna because they can't plan for a super predictable fact that it gets hot in the summer. That's right. It's not even that hot in New York. They don't have power anyway. If Times Square stays on, so does my AC, setting mine to 69. 78 degrees. My AC does not go above 68 in the summer. This is America, for God's sake. Florida Realtor of the Year. I want proof your thermostat is at 78, buddy. That's right. What a ratio. Look at that. 27,000 comments. That's a nuclear ratio. There you go. Come and take it. Sorry, New York. Sorry, New York. You get what you deserve. Be smarter next time. Till then, don't get too hot out there.